Hey, all you girls out there, you ready to have a good time? Welcome to the AlleyCat Hour. Here's Kitty.
You know it.
Meow.
So we are live right now. I have a guest getting ready to come in. But first, we're going to play the promo we've been playing all week. Very, very special guest, dear friend of mine. This is Kitty and the AlleyCat Hour tonight, 7 p.m. Thanks for tuning in. And here's our promo.
Here's Kitty.
You know it.
Meow.
Here in Santa Monica, California, but next Friday, or maybe this Friday, depending on when you're hearing this, Friday, April 11th at 7 p.m. Pacific Coast Time, I will be with Kitty on the AlleyCat Hour talking about sex, drugs, rock and roll, revolution, movies, and a lot about romance and what's going to happen more and where is the romance going in today's world. And especially how we're going to change the history of the world and make it the best of times. Right, Kitty?
Absolutely, dude. Tune into the AlleyCat Hour with Kitty and the Dude next Friday, April 11th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Online, exciteradio.com. You can tune into KXSR. You can tune into Apple TV, iTunes, any app you want. We're going to be there on Ustream live with the Dude. And we can't wait to talk about all things pop culture and activism.
And call in, too.
Yeah.
7 p.m. next Friday the 11th, or this Friday the 11th, the Dude abides.
All right, guys.
Try to protect this station.
Welcome to the AlleyCat Hour. I'm your host, Kitty, and this is my special guest. He's going to introduce himself in just a moment. I'm going to do a little intro. Jeff Dowd is my guest today. He is the original Dude. This guy has been an activist for major political and ideological movements since way before I was born, and continues to be more relevant than I will probably ever be in my entire life. And yet, he's my friend, and he shares his time with me, his thoughts, and he's come this whole hour to share them with all of you as well. So, without further ado, I know, I love puns.
We're starting right off. You're going to pun me to death here, right? Where's the camera? Where do I say
Here
hi to
is Jeff Dowd, everybody.
Where's the camera? Who are we looking at?
We have a couple cameras. There's
Okay,
one
I
here,
see,
one
okay,
here,
there's the monitor. I see
one
where- I
there.
just want to know where we're at.
Yeah, they catch us at all angles.
Hi.
Hi,
Wish I
darling.
was.
How are you? If you can, yeah, there we go.
What a pleasure to be here. This is an incredible, just talking outside with Sean. I think this thing that you guys are doing is, using this technology to figure out ways to connect people is, it's the future. And as the internet is, but be able to do this without, using satellites and all that stuff. It's bands will be broken, the world will change, all this incredible thing has great potential, and it's already doing it. So,
Thank
pleasure
you.
to be part of how you guys are changing the world here.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was drawn to it because of unlicensed, uncensored music and film and talk radio. I mean, I drop the occasional curse word every now and again, kind of a sailor like that.
Fucking A.
Yeah, fucking I did. But, and I say dude a lot. I realized that last week when we were doing the promo and we were just talking. People actually, I have friends that are like, Caitlin, if you call me dude one more time. And my mother used to tell me to stop calling her that. I was like, Mom, this is the most affectionate form of colloquialism I can come up with in my brain. And it's as if I was supposed to be talking to you like the entire time.
Where's the cough switch?
Cough switch.
On the mic.
We don't have
Okay,
a
there
cough
is-
switch.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, just wanted to know.
But you know what? You could hold this up if you wanted.
No, fine. Just one. Yeah, well, the dude thing's funny because, I'll be walking down the street and somebody says dude, and I turn around, but it's, you saying it to her or something like that. But it's not the original dude. I mean, for example, Dean Martin played the dude in Rio Bravo, one of the great movies of all time, by the way, which many other movies have copied more or less.
Right.
Dowd Ford movie with John Wayne and Ricky Nelson.
Ricky Nelson.
Who was the pop star of the moment.
The dreamboat.
So he got in there. Yeah. Anyhow.
I loved the Nelson brothers. Do you remember them? His sons, they were twins, and they had long blonde hair that looked like it had been ironed out.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Oh, yeah, I was a huge fan. I was like, what, 4th grade or something?
I should hope.
Yeah, my taste has definitely gone up from there. I grew up in Alaska, and my parents played records, so I thought that the Beach Boys were still 16 years old and playing music. And when we moved from Alaska to Virginia, I didn't really ever get the hint that there was a time gap of 30 years. And so everybody's going around the room on the first day of 3rd grade, I think it was, or something. And they're like, what's your favorite band? And everyone was saying, the little boy bands of the day. And I was like, the Beach Boys. And they're like, here's the Beach Boys. And I was a little embarrassed. And I thought, you guys are idiots.
Can we play music on this show?
We can play uncensored, unlicensed music. Because
we can't play a Beach Boys song now.
Oh, you know what? Not yet, but I am friends with a couple of those guys. Like Mike Love, and we'll see. Maybe we can get some of their music.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, Jeff.
I know Mike.
Ooh, tell me. I want gossip.
I know Mike too well. Mike's a good guy. He's a classic schizophrenic American. In terms of, I don't mean mentally. I just mean in terms of
ideological American.
Well, everything. He's all over the place.
Yeah.
But anyhow, the love train, as you like to call it. Anyhow.
I'm better. I know his son actually. He lives in Vegas. Named after him.
So no, it's just, we could drop, whatchamacallit, baby. What's the song?
Oh, Surfer.
Don't worry,
no,
don't worry,
Girl?
no, don't worry.
Don't worry, baby.
So you can sing it.
Don't worry, baby. Everything will be.
So we're gonna have call-ins here too tonight, right?
Yeah, I hope
How do people
so.
do that?
We put on the phone number. It's on the website on the AlleyCatHour.com. It is 213-973. Jason, what is that one? It's 2273. I'm going to write it down. I know, right? We have it up on the website. We'll have it up again. It's on the screen.
What is it?
Look at that technology.
23973.
2977. Oh, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to call in and talk to the dude, please
So what
do.
should we talk about? We're, all really off in Tangent City here. Talk about Ricky Nelson's sons.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
But no sorry on that. It's just,
Well,
I would have prepped on the Nelson brothers if I knew we were going to go together and watch a couple of their tunes. I'm out of my element here.
Oh, no, you're not. I'm in your element. I think it's a come on.
So what should we talk about?
Well, for the people that are out there that know what you've been involved in, one of my questions is what is your biggest passion for? I know that you have a lot of activist workings out there, and you believe in a lot of things. I know both of us were talking about the water shortage last Friday and the Colorado River.
I didn't go inside and get you water?
No, we got a lot of water. I apologize because I think I drank like 3 bottles.
Yeah, well,
Sitting on the couch.
there is no shortage in my place because you stopped by.
Oh.
That's true, but other than that, we were talking about the geopolitical water shortage.
Correct, yeah.
Well, what I'm passionate about, a lot of things, but we're at a moment, historic moment right now where all systems are going to be changing and are changing, okay?
Yeah.
Transportation system, energy system, education system, financial system. Nobody doubts this. We're not going to be using the same phones 5 years from now that we're using now. We're not going to be doing transportation. Are we going to be fracking, or we're going to be doing solar energy?
Yeah, right.
We're not going to be doing the old school oil as much, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a certain credible power right now to show what's possible. So, for example, in the industry, I've worked a lot in the movie industry. People like, let's say, Coppola or Oliver Stone have gone back and done essentially revisionist movies on history.
Right.
And try to tell what they think really happened in Vietnam, or feel it more, as opposed to the John Wayne version. Or they've done people cautionary
think we have a caller. We're going to try to answer that in just a second.
Looks like you got a date, Caitlin. Anyhow, so and so Doctor Strangelove, The Terminator, great cautionary tale movies.
Yeah.
But I think our real historic role right now, not just in movies but in forms of communication, is to show what's possible. And it's two things. One, to make sure we're all educated so we know what's really going on, because the amount of, if you turn on your TV, you would think the strongest environmentalists in the world right now are BP oil. And,
right.
The fracking guys, because their commercials are so damn good. About, they start with the two farmer guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've been running a family farm here for years, and da-da-da-da-da, and, we're doing fracking, and that's what allows us to keep the farm going, and, it's like brilliant, well, it's bullshit, of course. Down the road, people can, light their fucking, faucets on fire,
Yeah.
Or I should say that with fires coming out of their faucets, okay? Anyhow, truthfully, so to us, so we have to show what's truth of what's going on. In other words, here's the net effect of fracking and stuff like that. But we also have to show what the alternative is.
Right.
And no politician in the history of the world has ever been a leader. Name it. Name them. They've been followers of cultural movements, political movements, everything else. FDR is a very good example. He was terrible in his first term, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, but because of cultural movements, political movements, his wife, etc., he changed. Okay. And
not on your Facebook friends list. They shouldn't be friends with you, man.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Do we have a caller?
Am I on the radio?
Yes, you are. Who's this? This is Kitty and the dude.
Hey, Kitty. Hey, dude. This is Josh. What's going on, guys?
Do you even know why? Is this a wrong number, or are you trying to call here?
I'm calling the radio station. I saw some stuff going on. You got the dudes on today.
I do. This is the original dude.
That would be we. This is the royal we. Yes, we're here.
Josh, meet Jeff Dowd.
What's up, dude?
Hey, Josh, where are you calling from?
I'm from Santa Monica.
Jeez Louise, we could have been hanging out together. I'm out here in the valley now. We could have been hanging out together in person. You wouldn't have had to call in. So I'm from Santa Monica too. Good for you. It's a nice
place. It's a great day today, man.
Yeah,
Jesus, let me look
it's
at
gorgeous.
Jesus, sunset is in two. Sunset is in two.
Call in and say, hey.
Sunset is in 2 minutes, Josh. You know that?
I'm not driving anywhere, man. I'm not going anywhere.
No. Okay. Well, I'm just saying. Well, magic hour starts after that. But if you step out your window, you'll see the sun setting. Okay.
Nice.
2 minutes to Santa Monica. So cool.
Right outside right now.
You got any questions? Just wake up.
I just wanted to call and say I love everything that you guys are doing, and I'm digging the show.
Thank you.
Have you?
Thank you so much.
Do you listen to this station and some of these shows? Have you done that before?
Yeah, I love this station. They have all kinds of great music. You can't hear. Like I turn on the radio and it's just like that guy yelling at me, and I go to the internet radio and it's just like you don't have any interruptions, just music, man.
How do you mostly listen to this? Do you listen on a phone, on an iPad, on a computer, or all the above?
I listen on my computer.
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
So you're listening at work and home?
Yeah, I work from my house, man.
Nice. What do you do, Josh?
I make these cool little baskets. They're basically like half hemp and half like wicker, and it's like a cool art piece that you can store stuff in.
That's cool. I thought she said half hemp and half liquor, and I was like, well, sounds like a Friday light. You said wicker, right?
Well, that'd be interesting. I'd love to see your stuff. I have stuff to store.
Huh. Maybe you want to go get some baskets after the show?
We can start. It's a little late on Friday night to be getting baskets. It's not usually what the dude does on Friday night goes back. No offense, Josh. Then we can hang out and do other stuff on Friday night. But I'm sure you don't do too many sales, and I don't do much hanging on Friday night. Buying baskets. But that might be something we'd be very interested in doing on Saturday.
Yeah.
We could put a hemp inside the hemp basket. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So cool, Josh.
Right on.
Dude, Josh, thanks for calling in.
Hey, not a problem. You guys have a great day.
Hey, Josh, send an email so we know how to find you. Or
you can email me, kitty@exciteradio.com. We'll hook you up, and I want to...
That 2 T's?
Yeah, 2 T's. Kitty.
All right, like the kitty cat.
You got it.
Awesome. Cool, you guys. Take
Don't
care.
do pussy at
Awesome.
websiteradio.com, Josh. Don't make that big mistake.
That's a totally different show.
Exactly. Well, we might get there by the end of this show. So.
Wishful thinking. All right. Well, that was fun. Santa Monica, he's a local guy.
Yeah, we had to drive all the way out here to the valley so we could talk to a guy in Santa Monica. Did you love it?
L.A.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm very interested in people calling in and stuff. But back to what we were talking about. So I think one of the things we can do through videos, 60-second things, movies, is show what's possible. And in fact, there's almost every single situation or problem, there's solutions going on everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so right next door sometimes.
Absolutely.
A block away. So we can make videos that are like 3 minutes long with everybody in them and show, hey, we could have a bullet train right now. And then all of a sudden, half California sees it. And guess what? The politicians will follow, and we'll have a bullet train. And so everybody else, it's almost like you got to vote when that many people have seen it. More people will see it than vote in the first place. Okay?
Yeah.
So that the historic role we can play at a time when the world is systemically changing is to show where it is, but also to show where it can go. That is huge, huge. And anybody can do it themselves with their iPhone. The guy can do that war child thing.
Yeah.
That, went from 200,000 people to 72 million within a week and a half, mostly pushed by tweener girls at first, and then teenage girls, and then picked up by everybody else. So you can, we can do that kind of stuff. I mean, it's amazing what you can do.
It's power. It's kind of putting power back in the hands of the people.
Well, you used to lobby for months to try to get a story in the New York Times, the LA Times, that a tenth of people would ever read in the first place. Then they'll see something on the video you can have up tomorrow afternoon. So our power, and this happens on Facebook, and you can do it while you work. You can put up a meme. You can put up a link to an article on Twitter or whatever that does that. But so you don't have to, do. It's not like heavy lifting.
It's
you have
quick
to run out on the
expression.
streets and protest today. You can share and do that. But we can create, and maybe there's people in the movie industry that do this as their day jobs, but they could also do something like this, and everybody wants to help, okay? So we're going about doing a bunch of that kind of stuff, but that's what I'm saying to the people out there, too. You can show what's possible, and there's networks that do this, NBC will do it and have a little thing, or CNN will have it, their heroes thing, or people making a difference thing. But it's something we can do, and it's modeling, and you need modeling to do this kind of stuff,
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Well, that's a good question for me. I'm interested. I know big media used to run everything, and now that we have these voices and they're so pervasive online, and you can go international with anything you want. If that had existed 40 years ago, what do you think would be different? I mean, do you think, like, what
when
you
say
did?
40, when you say 40, you're just trying to get it to that.
Well, if you wanted to talk about it.
Movement,
Well, we talked about.
Well, let me say something about that time, which is very interesting. People who didn't live through that time have certain representations of it and stuff like that. And a lot of people that were doing really good stuff in that time ended up becoming yuppies or diving for shelter or were fucked up in that. And so it's like, okay. And it looks like it was just sex, drugs, and rock and roll and stuff. Let me say something else that everybody who was in that time knows. It was the most incredible time of sharing of information. So what was happening is all of a sudden, for example, speaking of where we are now, FM radio stations sprang up. Well, before you could get top 40. Now you're looking, album-oriented radio. Now you're hearing albums and stuff. It's just not albums that aren't necessarily hits, but they're, major songs, etc. So that's happening with music, and of course, there's talk things going on there. It's happening with the underground papers. It's happening with lectures and this and that. And so every day, everybody learned lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff, and it was exciting. And so it was a tremendous time of exchange of information, okay? That should be noted, okay? And people were really doing it. That's what was exciting. It was, so for some people, it's learning a new lifestyle when they want to go to a commune or how to eat, or some people it's learning, but it was a time of great information exchange.
So it's kind of like this is like 2.0 of information exchange.
Whatever, yeah. So had we had the internet, so the point is we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have texting, but we had community developing using new media,
Right.
which might be an underground paper, it might be a radio station, might be, this, that, the other thing, anyhow. But had we had the media then, yeah, things would have happened a little faster. If we had the internet then, maybe a little faster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had two girls in here last week. One an actress from Great Britain and another from a screenwriter from Australia.
Who was the actress? Who are
Serena Lorian is my friend. She was a castmate of mine on the House of Manson film that I did with Micro Bay. And she was one of the leads. I played Gypsy. I kind of got in there, and I didn't have to say much, but I got to sing a couple times. That was cool. And then the other one is Annabelle Osborne. And
The Colorado River.
Whoops. And there we go, the Colorado. Annabelle Osborne, and she's Australian. And they were both in here, and we talked about the media quickly, and they said that America, mass media is still grossly kind of filtered here compared to any other place in the world. So we're still kind of, at least, the major networks are still filtering our information a lot.
Yes, and then you get stuff like what's going on with CNN on this airplane thing,
Yeah.
which the Jon Stewart things are hilarious.
Oh,
where they're
yeah.
going 23.5, 7, and every time they come on, they say it's breaking news, and it's only been breaking news like twice, and there's no breaking news, so they've totally they've totally done this ridiculous thing. I mean, the stuff was coming down with Putin moving into the Crimea, and they're
Right.
barely, which could who knows where that might have or not gone. And they're like, giving it like 1 minute a day, when they normally would be all over it because they're, into that ratings.
Yeah.
And it's very funny as they try to keep doing the same story. Anyhow, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Onward.
Onward.
Callers, call in. Somebody
Onward
out
and
there
upward.
listening.
Yeah, call in, guys. We've got the number on the screen.
213-973-2977. That's 213-973-2977.
Ta-da.
So let's talk other stuff.
All right, other stuff. So music. We were talking about music. You said you've been out to the Broad Theater downtown lately. Where were you?
No. Just my neighbor Robin does sound there and in the caves. And I've been all kinds of places. But my friend John Batiste was in town. And by the way, those of you who are in New York,
Yeah.
John Batiste, according to Prince, to Barbra Streisand, everybody, is reinventing music.
Yeah.
And he comes out of the New Orleans tradition, but he and his fellow bandmates and Stay Human are all the top Juilliard guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so
I
much.
love them. They were they did that parade.
That's
Sundance.
Yeah. That's a funny story.
For the Louisiana Film Festival. That's how I met them, and
Let me tell you the story of that.
love those guys. Yes, please.
I'll get to that story in a second, but let me tell you the background. So these guys are incredible, and he plays, he's a virtuoso piano player, but he also plays this thing called the harmonica board. Just Google John Batiste. That's without the P. Batistjon. But he's playing April 19th at the Webster Hall in New York. When these guys play, they came to Sundance, and we're going to play one gig. They ended up playing 7, and we did the second line, which is what they do in New Orleans, where there's a band and like hundreds of people march with them and play with them and stuff. So we did a second line of Main Street.
Yeah.
But what happened was we were going to do it on what was the day, it was Martin Luther King Day and Obama's inauguration, okay?
Right.
It was Martin Luther King Day. They're both happening the same day.
In January, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so
January 18th.
and so we
Right.
decided to do this like on a Sunday. We were doing it on Monday. Well, the mayor's a good friend, Dana Williams, and all this stuff. But what happened is some of the more right-wing people on the city council said, or somebody said, "What are you doing?" So there's an emergency meeting at 4:00 in the afternoon on Sunday with everybody to talk about, well, we can't permit this stuff. And I said, well, the USC marching band marched up this street not 3 months ago, when they were in town to play, University of Utah or something like that. I said, but you might notice there's like 75 film crews on Main Street, including like some places like CNN have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
the inauguration's happening, but one of the things all the people are going to do is they're going to cut around the country to, things happening here. And if you really want on Martin Luther King Day and the day of the inauguration to ban a march, it's going to last. It's going to last all of 10, 15 minutes marching from one place up the other place. Hundreds of people having the time of their life, and you want CNN to cut to it and say, "Oh, and in Park City, Utah, during the Sundance Film Festival, they would not let people led by black people, in the greatest band in the world, walk with all the people in Sundance, walk up the street and have a good time for 5, 10 minutes." I'll go right ahead and do that. But I got to tell you, some guys at the ski areas, some folks in the hotels, are going to be pretty pissed when people decide to go to, Aspen rather than Park City, because Park City's the racist place that won't let people celebrate the election of the president and Martin Luther King for a few minutes having fun. So we marched, let's say. Anyhow, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah. But Batiste and these guys are going to be Webster Hall. I think that's on the 19th.
Yeah, I'll check that.
But this, I'm telling you, this is a music experience not to be missed. He also plays the harmonica board, which is kind of a thing you blow on with a keyboard.
Yep. So cool.
Which is also the melodica, which, as John says, we march around a lot in New Orleans, and it's really hard to carry a grand piano on your back, so I play this too. They're incredible people. It will be an experience of music. It's as evolving as you ever and transform, and I've been to things like Woodstock, as you will ever experience. Go with lots of friends in New York. John Batiste, April 19th, Webster Hall.
Yep, I'll put that up on the website. It'll be up on facebook.com/AlleyCat Hour. Speaking of music, I am looking to go out. I have a friend. Do you know the DBA Theater? It says Doing Business as Theater. And
where is it?
There's a group. It's in Hollywood. I don't have the address in front of me right now. But it's in Hollywood. And there's a group called For the Record who do reviews. And they just finished one up of a Baz Luhrmann review. And it's a musical review of films. And right now they're doing the Quentin Tarantino review. And my friend Jennifer King is in it. And I get to go. I think it's a mixture. I haven't been able to go yet, but I think I'm going to get tickets for tomorrow night if you want to be my date.
Thank you. But I have plans.
Of course you do. He's so busy.
Not busy later tonight.
No? Okay.
No.
There you go. Yeah, they are actually. They're performing the next 4 nights in a row. But it's a cool little thing, and they do musical reviews of these great filmmakers. And I think Tarantino went to the premiere.
Yeah.
I'll send you the information. It's called For the Record, and they perform at the DBA Theater in Hollywood.
And they're doing Baz tomorrow?
They already did Baz Luhrmann. They wrapped that
What
show,
are they doing
and they're
tomorrow?
doing Quentin Tarantino review.
Quite a night to drop by.
That's kind of fun.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
I am, for those of you who see Quentin, for those of you who've seen Django, a very close friend of mine is an actress named Laura Cayouette, Cayouett, who's not only an actress, but she produces stuff with Quentin. She plays Leo's sister.
Oh, okay.
I don't do the spoiler in the movie. Great person. And I am actually marrying her and Andy Gallagher.
Oh, you're officiating?
No, I'm becoming a minister, so I can.
Yeah.
They asked me to marry them.
That's awesome.
So so we're all part of the same deal there. Gwen was just down there on a float with Laura. They got a float together. It's fantastic.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that might be fun. Pop by with Gwen.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, send me something.
A little view. Yeah, I will. I'll send you
really
you
cool.
links. Yeah, I'll try to get there. Right now, here we go. We've got some information about it real quick. DBA, it's 7969 on Santa Monica Boulevard. It's in West Hollywood.
Santa Monica and what?
7969. I don't know what the.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever.
I'll put it up. And I'll send you the info. But yeah, my friend Jennifer King is in it, and she's a fantastic little actress. She's also on a Nickelodeon show right now. She is one talented
Is she
little broad.
physically little, or you just said she's little?
No, well, physically, she's fit. She's gorgeous.
But when you use the word little, what does that pertain?
She is a beautiful adult female, and I think I use the word little when it's a term of endearment. It's like when I call people
But
dude.
it's not about her size.
No, it's about
No, I get that's
you want to put her in your pocket and take her with you. I guess. You know?
Yeah.
I had
Cool.
to sum it up.
Cool. Great. Fantastic.
Well, yeah, actually, you were talking about John Batiste earlier. They played at Carnegie Hall And I almost made that show, but I was stuck out here
This
doing
one
some work.
this one will be even better.
Yeah.
It's very cool. They were just here last week. A lot of these guys stay at we have a few houses right next to each other, so they stay with us and stuff like that.
Nice.
So it's really fun to have the band there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyhow, there's another thing I'm doing called Peace Jam,
Peace Jam.
as in www.peacejam, one word like it sounds, .org, peacejam.org, which we work with 17 Nobel Prize laureates like the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu
Right.
and Rigobert Dementia. And Dawn and my close friends started it. In fact, we're married by Desmond twice. One, not like, Burton and Taylor or something like that. It was like, it was like they got married in Cape Town and they did another marriage here with their friends.
Oh, gotcha.
But then we mentored, over 1 million kids and saved their lives, and nobody's been rearrested and all that. But peacejam.org is an incredible thing, and Yvonne's a big-time rocker. If you saw Almost Famous, the Phil Hoffman, rest in peace, his character, Lester Bangs, the other editor of the paper was Yvonne out of Detroit, who introduced David Bowie to us and stuff like that.
Right.
And Cream magazine, which was the hipper Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
But he was also in the Ramrods and best friends with Don Was and now Jack White and stuff. Who's part of this whole thing. And we got Google Plus, and we're going to show they're going to show the Desmond Tutu movie, whose name escapes me right now, on September 4th to 1 billion people.
Oh,
we're
that's
talking
amazing.
Talking about how you reinvent forms of distribution.
Right.
I'm not going old school, get into a film festival, go to a theaters, maybe some people buy it later, or Netflix, and you get no money and all that stuff. I'm not very much, I'm not. Netflix is phenomenal, but what I'm trying to say is they're just reinventing it, just like this station is reinventing a way to communicate.
Correct.
They've found a new way to communicate that they'll actually communicate more and better with a lot of people real quick, and it will be 1 billion people. And they're going to do another thing that's going to be 2 billion people next.
That's
Not
amazing.
a movie, but involving them all at once around the world. And so Google's in. So you find these companies and you try to bring out the best of their humanity and what they can do. Because these people have their day jobs at Google, but they would also like to do better.
Right. Yeah, and then they get involved with their active projects. So this is a global project, right? Are you guys
It's a
Peace
global
Jams all over?
Yeah. I mean, I was in a thing where they had 10,000 kids from around the world there.
Amazing.
And mentorship works. You take a bunch of gangbangers in Minneapolis. You help them do murals on, everywhere.
Right.
Some jobs come out of that, and guess what? None of them have been rearrested. None of them had a drug problem again. Nothing.
So you're basically just redirecting that energy into something positive, and then once they know how to.
And 9/10 of all these crazy shootouts, had we or somebody worked with these kids, that never would happen. Okay.
Yeah.
The kids that go off,
Yeah.
And everybody's going off now. We're in a world of tremendous insecurity. College kids don't have a job. You can have any job, 0 job security. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah. Zero job security.
What level
0
you're
retirement.
on. You can be the chairwoman of the company. You can be this, that. There's not even, in the academia, it's all adjunct professors. There's nothing anymore. So, excuse me, the most successful people, you can be head of Facebook or Apple, and, you're under fire every fucking day,
Yep.
And P.S., both those guys took the biggest hit in history in the stock market today, yes, which one would call a correction, but it's more than that. But anyhow, it's not as correct. But, so, everybody's very insecure. And in that time of insecurity, we have to find time to come together with our friends, colleagues, neighbors to do good things that we may not get at our work situation. You have a very creative work situation here.
Right.
But most people I know, I was with someone who's the head of marketing for a lot of clubs today at the dog park, Ashley. And what happened, she does all this, club stuff, but here's somebody with a great skill set.
Right.
To bring people together, phenomenal skill set. And, what she could be doing also is using that skill set to do something with 3 or 4 friends, not at their gig, because what she is, she's in second gear every day at work.
Right.
With her using her brain and everything she's learned in her life.
Yep.
Something she may have a heavy day when she has to, make a deadline, but using her talent is in second gear
Right.
most of the time, and that's
It's frustrating.
It's frustrating. It's terrible. It makes you
Exhausting.
So
Been there.
the way we overcome that is any two friends, any four friends. I mean, Saturday Night Live starts from 3 or 4 writers.
Yep.
3 or 4 people can get. Was as soon as Obama and 3 or 4 of his colleagues from Chicago realized that Iowa is about as close to Chicago as we are to Oxnard or Long Beach. It's an hour away, and it takes more votes to win a vote in the city council or in the set or a ward in Chicago than it does to win the Iowa primary.
Jeez.
So all they have to do is go down and organize, okay?
Right.
And considering he was the senator who had to bring over a lot of people who maybe had some slightly upbringing and slightly racist trepidation, but he was able to trump that because those same people, other things he was speaking about to the values, whether it was the Iraq War or justice or economy, trumped that. So he knew he could do that in Illinois. Well, we can do that in Iowa, okay? So that's a handful of people that figured that out, 3 or 4. And then it all flowed, and that's why Hillary didn't win, because they built a grassroots organization. She's coming with the money, okay?
Right.
But, so the stuff a handful of people can do can change history all the time, okay?
Yeah.
All the time, okay?
Yeah.
We have, paradoxically, we have less power than we've ever had, power than we've ever had.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And we really do have more power than we've ever had by far.
Yeah. Well, I think
Individuals, every individual in the world.
right, because we
more
have
power.
we have microphones. Anywhere we go, we can share pictures, we can tell truths, or we can tell lies. I mean, our generation, I think, like what you just said about being in second gear all the time, so many people I know are creative. Of course, I live in Hollywood, but even at home, like, people are innately creative, human beings. And I think we force
George
that.
Bush is creative. Now that he's not doing, I work with a guy named James Fallon, who's a brain guy, the best, not Jimmy, but James. UC Irvine, tied for first in the world. And he points out that when people are in jobs where you're doing a lot of managerial stuff all day long,
Right.
or just well, look at it as a road, your brain, and there's only so much space. Well, you take all that managerial stuff, or maybe you accomplish the 89 things today, they're the little things, because take that away, the road's wide open.
Yep.
Hence, Grandma Moses starts painting. My grandma started painting. George Bush is painting. Okay, that's natural. That's natural. And George Bush, maybe he was not at Yale, but hanging out with us, but might have ended up doing poster art for
Right.
rock concerts. But he went went the other way. Daddy's playing stuff like that. But innately, and he would have been a better person. Okay.
Right.
So we all have, and all you have to do is look. We may not all be great writers, but everybody's got one great story in them. We may not all be this, so everybody's got the potential to, and not just artistic in any way.
Yeah.
But the key to it is the team you and your friends and colleagues build.
Yep.
Outside or within your work environment. Sometimes you can change your company to do the right thing too, like Google is doing the right thing on a whole totally corporate level here.
Right.
But if they weren't, you can work with people anyway.
Yeah.
Because they have a skill set. I'm in the Apple store. I'm going, why aren't these Apple people all helping on Peace Jam? They're all the Genius Bar people, but they're not using their skill set enough away. So why aren't they doing a couple hours doing mentoring with local kids?
Right.
And Apple pays them for it or does this and well, we'll set that up now. It's obvious we should set that up.
Yeah. No, that would be great. I think it's kind of about like having those options. When you're frustrated and exhausted, you don't necessarily go towards that type of avenue. But if it's there and it makes you feel good and it's rewarding, that's an incentive in itself. But people don't realize that. I think they just see it as time and energy, and we become very selfish if we're exhausted. So I think people shut down instead of reaching out. So if it was made available to them and then they got the chance to have that rewarding feeling, more people would be involved.
Yep. We can make this the best of times. It's what Dickens says. It's the worst of times, the best of times.
Right.
Let's make it the best. Let's make it the best of times.
Yeah.
And anybody who's wandering around in this country feeling depressed, please take a look at Syria for a minute, and stuff like that. We're not in Syria, folks. I mean, yeah, we had a bad day on the 405, okay? And there's a lot of toxic people around us, particularly in the Hollywood world.
That's true.
But with that said,
Perspective.
we're not in Syria, okay? You know, and even people with the Arab Spring of the world, those people, they have that power now too. They're tweeting and stuff like that. You know?
Yep.
That's how they make. So we're at a time of great communication and action potential. Understanding the way in which we take action doesn't mean you have to go out in the streets and have a demonstration every day, or do Occupy Wall Street every day. There's lots of ways to be very active,
Right.
which you can do even. Look, the most important thing in the world right now to everybody seems to be time. Nobody has enough time, okay? And everybody's trying to figure out, how they're going to survive and et cetera. So you have to put that in the mix of how you can be a positive humanist, also for yourself,
Right.
fulfilled, rewarded person while doing that. But I'm telling you, once you sit around with one or two friends who you can click off of, well, guess what? Waz and Jobs are sitting in the garage, and Paul and Bill are sitting in the garage, and they're doing all right. So and bands are in a garage.
Yeah.
You look at that movie that where they showed the old Sony Classics put it out, where they showed Jack White and they showed the other, and they showed Jimmy Page, I think it was, and they showed from U2.
Yeah, Jack White made a guitar out of
so they showed that movie,
2x4.
and they showed the movie of all these guys how they first started, and Jack White's first band was called the Upholsters, because he worked in an upholstery shop with a bunch of guys, and so they decided to do a band, and guys could think of nothing else other than upholstery, so they call themselves the Upholsters, and they have Jimmy Page or whoever was on there, and he goes like, we were the worst band in the world, at first, and then
Right. But that everybody, I mean, if you played music, if you have ever started to play any type of music, I mean, I've been singing since I was born, and I still have days where I struggle to really, freaking just
break in a song for us at some point, not now when you feel the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, propose song. Just break it in for a beat.
Okay, all right, got it.
Not right now.
Okay.
When you're ready.
Huh, all right. But yeah, I have moments where I just can't fucking get my head around exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and learning new instruments is still hard for me.
The key thing is we have somebody to talk to in the morning that helps you focus on that stuff and realize you're not insane. To have this idea,
Yep.
or this thing, and it's fun, and that's the secret, It is.
But yeah, it's very, I mean, it's the same
we are
thing.
going to die of terminal boredom if we don't use our minds.
I don't understand bored people. I think I've never really understood it because my mind is always moving. Now, I have a hard time settling down. Not romantically. We'll get to that in a minute. We've completely skipped romance.
Let's get to romance. Ask me what I do.
What do you do?
What would you like to do? Everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new Mrs. Jeff Dowd. Thank you. Now, yeah, I don't know. What do you think about romance today, especially with? I mean, I know online dating is such a freaking, it's a headache. I don't really understand it. Some people have found love. I can't really get my head around it. I have a hard time.
I've never done that.
You're not on OkCupid or anything?
No, but I have friends. Like I have a friend whose husband died prematurely. Surprise. And within a year, through one of the sites, she was married to somebody else, and
happily,
incredibly
married.
happy. She's a big wig in the industry, and he's not in the industry, and so it's a good balance,
Right.
I mean, I could name all kinds. So some people, I mean, one of the great things, of course, was the thing on the meme on Facebook or whatever it was on Christian Mingle. With the two gay guys.
Yeah.
You go, we met on Christian Mingle. Classic. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You can, just how you get a great idea like that, boom, it's up there in 10 seconds and gets shared, and it says something. It's it's their version of doing Joel and Ethan ironic satire.
Yeah, exactly.
But they can do it in a meme. How much time he's hard, how many people see it, how great is it? That's power. That's great. You are. More people are seeing you comment on that meme than some famous author or some famous other person who happens to be on Jon Stewart that night.
Yeah.
Okay, you're doing something as probably more people will see that meme than saw the Jon Stewart show that night. Okay, so you have the power of being a satiric critic like Jon Stewart has.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Incredible power.
I just saw a. We were gonna play a short video, but I want to keep talking. I'll put it on the
Back
website.
to romance. Back to romance.
Back to romance.
So here's the thing about romance is I chew my eyes. On a bigger sense, I want to say this. Men have been like this for years, as back in the day of they're the breadwinners, where they're overly preoccupied with their work, and romance starts to fade to some degree. And there's 14 million movies, books, and personal experiences. We all know about that on a daily basis.
Right.
What's happening with these are big, ridiculous overgeneralizations. What's happening with a lot of women now is who are thinking, gee, I may have to do this for the rest of my life myself.
Yeah.
If I don't settle. Well, I'm going to take the people out of the equation. We'll get back to who you have kids with in a minute. But so, or I need this money now. And so people are going crazy trying to survive. Crazy.
Yeah.
And if they have jobs, even crazier. As you know, in the texting, email world, a lot of people are working weekends now too.
Yeah.
To one level or another because it interferes.
Yep.
And when I'm working with a filmmaker, I got to kind of establish it pretty quickly. It better be a real fucking emergency.
Yeah.
If you're calling me at night and stuff, that's fine.
Right.
It'll be real time sensitive and really important because just because you're bored and want to talk to me, I may want to chill, so I can work with you better tomorrow morning. Okay. So you got to set those kind of boundaries. But what I'm back to saying is this: so romance is suffering because people don't feel they have enough time for it at times. This is a huge generalization.
No, but it's very true, especially right now. And seriously, for all of the people I know that are about my age, if they haven't already locked in a relationship, they have a very hard time ever committing because of the same reason you're speaking of. They're like, if I take any time, any free time out of my career, I'm going to waste that time. Even if it's on love or a relationship, they think that it's going to take away from their career. And I have been hoping optimistically.
Often does.
Well, it can if
And
it's a toxic relationship. Yeah.
Even if it's not, unless it's really supportive, it can take time.
Right.
It can be a great relationship, but you still have, X number of hours.
Right.
There's so many hours in the day, and there's a lot of people that barely have enough hours anyway.
Right.
So they're going, gee, do I have time for a relationship as well?
Yeah.
Which is what they really want. And,
I think what you just said, I want a balance. I want a partner, somebody that supports you in your career and understands the pace at which you're going to go for most of your life. And that's
Roger Ebert once said to me, he said, what true love is when you really support the dreams of your partner. You're really there to support the dreams. And that's really what it is on many levels.
Yeah.
So back to the romance thing. So here's the thing. So you used to have the men not being focused enough. We're not allowing the power. Romance takes some time, okay, sometimes. Particularly proper time. And even from a woman's point of view, for all the kinds of nature and nurture reasons,
Ugh.
you don't
biology.
You don't just go, hi, let's fuck, so it takes some time. No, I'm not talking,
Right, for a relationship.
When Eddie 01 would all be doing here. But anyhow, I'm talking about,
Yeah.
So it suffers. And so it's very important people find that balance, and particularly in a town like Hollywood, LA, an industry town where everybody's, really, let me give you an example. The movie business. One of the reasons the movie business comes with a lot of insecurity is no movie has an intrinsic value. You can take the dress you're wearing and you can mark it down. Maybe it's sold for $100, but you can mark it down to $80. You'll eventually sell it for $1. You get something. You can make a movie and it could lose $100 million, like that Schwarzenegger thing, or it looked like Terminator might do that, but it turned out it becomes the biggest movie. But 3 months beforehand,
You don't know.
knew. Okay, so that produces a lot of insecurity for everybody involved, because you don't know what the payoff's going to be. You really don't. And all you got to do is look at every year at the box office and every year at the awards, and you can see, and then look a year beforehand, and you'll see there's tons of surprises, that every, expert in the world couldn't try to. There are things you can do to make sure things work better, like know how to tell a story, work on your script, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So it's great, but with that said, at the end of the day, but you could do that too, and then the marketing people could drop the ball, So
Yeah.
Or it just doesn't work, and there's hurricanes or something.
Or you don't get your distribution.
9/11 happens, but anyhow, we can talk about that. But so here's what I'm saying. Romance is the stuff of life. It helps when you're in a good romantic relationship. It helps work. I'm not saying there weren't people in bad relationships that didn't produce great work.
Right.
Or people who were self-destructive, let's say, great writers who drank too much, or something like that. But, and you can make that whole argument that good art comes out of pain, all that kind of stuff. And how many great songs came right after a breakup and stuff like that. But I was with somebody yesterday, and he had some very, very bad news, and he got out a guitar and started playing, after I gave him a hug and stuff like that, and so,
Well, it's a therapy too. I mean, that pain is actually going to be. The pain comes from a very strong feeling of passion, usually, for one thing or another, and so it'll translate into pain or hatred, and you can create art with that. But what would your advice be to
you? Right now? No, my advice.
To anyone?
Well, my advice is, I think you should use all means necessary to try to meet people. I think people should put themselves out there to some degree. You're not gonna. Well, you could have made it, but
is it worth getting hurt?
Yeah, no pain, no gain. But the question is how you're going to get hurt. And here's the thing. So many people, particularly women, but men too, have been very, very hurt in their lives.
Yeah.
Could start at parenting or lack of parenting. It could start with family issues. It could start by somebody who, broke somebody's heart when they're 13. It could start off. But the key thing is to not be triggered by that pain of the past when something similar seems to come up, but it really isn't.
Right, and you react as if it's...
I was with somebody yesterday, and she's living, as a business, but she's got so much pain and so much, snake bitten.
Yeah.
And this wasn't about romance, but that, she doesn't trust, or there's a hard time, or anybody that's trusting their positive instincts because of the pain of the past. And if you go on any of those things like the forum, it's all about that. Just move on, Anyhow, and which is hard to do, but you can do. And so I think one has to, try to take a new relationship potential and figure out ways that you're not triggered.
Right.
By stuff that may have nothing whatsoever to do with you, the other person, or anything, but it has to do with people who have all those triggers, because we really have all been hurt a lot.
Right, there's also, like you said,
and starting with family stuff, okay?
Yeah.
And other experiences.
Right. But like you said, there's always therapy, there's always rehab. We're ending the hour here, and I could keep talking for like 12 years. We did last week. We could talk for another 12 years. I'd be okay with that.
We'll come back.
Oh, guys, we're going to get a repeat sequel performance from the dude.
We can even do it remotely. We can do it from...
Yeah.
Can you do this from my place in Santa Monica?
Absolutely.
Live?
I don't know. We'll have to talk to our amazing engineers and station.
Well, we can walk into a studio in Santa Monica, too.
Yeah.
You come west.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
We can cello tomorrow night if we want.
Right? You going?
I may.
All right. Well, give me a caller.
I couldn't go tonight. So, anyhow, so back on romance.
Back on romance.
Come see about me, the dude. Jeff Dowd at AOL. Yes, I have all the other things, too. I have the me, I have the cloud, I have the Gmail, but that's an easy one to ring. Jeff Dowd at AOL. Send me a note.
There you go, ladies. He's up on...
I do a lot of counseling.
On the blog.
I do a lot of counseling to friends, particularly women, because...
well, we're open to it more.
Because they want to know, how do I deal with guys and stuff like that. And, what's
and you have a good
on.
perspective.
Well,
I love your brain.
I'm sorry.
Everybody here loves your brain and your hair.
Thanks.
It's great. Have
And
you ever
my-
had
and-
it short?
Yeah, in jail. I had a crew car
When was that? What year?
before you were born. Back in the day. I don't know. Back in the 70s or something like that.
Gotcha.
I
All
cut
right.
my hair. But, yeah. So, live life large, folks. Nurture yourself, not just others.
You got it.
Abides. Thank you for having me.
Oh, dude, you can
Are we
abide
still on?
with us anytime. We're going off right now. Guys, thank you for listening to the AlleyCat Hour. This was Kitty and the Dude, a very special evening of talk. And all of the information we talked about, including peacejam.org, is going to be up on facebook.com/AlleyCat Hour. And we will see you next week at 7 p.m.
And by the way, John Batista's playing all over the place. I think he was in Boston last night. And
So he's on tour.
Yeah,
Cool.
They're finishing the Webster Hall gig on April 19th, next Saturday night, not tomorrow, in New York City. It's going to be a phenomenal gig.
Oh, I'm excited. I wish we could fly there
John
and
Batiste.
follow
Oh,
that
good
one.
man.
There we go. Okay, well, there we go. All right, guys, have a great evening. This has been the AlleyCat Hour with your host, Kitty and the Dude. Have a great week.
That's all from the alley for this week, ladies. Join us again as we explore and devour without limits. Stay tuned for Close to Nowhere coming up next on KSSR Digital Broadcast Network and syndicated affiliates.